Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the prime time newscast in the English language on Canal the International. I'm called Morinji. It's 6:15, and we take you around the globe and major stories. Our fighters in the northwest region seem to be tightening the noose on the regional capital, Bamenda, for some time now after halting the movement of vehicles along the major roads to the divisional headquarters. The population got off this Tuesday morning to a ban on traffic. And Cameroon joins other African countries today to commemorate the African Day of Decentralization and Local Development under the theme, the contribution of arts, culture and heritage in a sustainable development of African cities and territories. In today's edition, we evaluate the decentralization process in Cameroon. And the Minister of Transport has given 7-day ultimatum to owners of travel agencies to regularize themselves of fees or sanctions. Those were major stories. The details right ahead. Good evening once more and welcome to the 6:15 prime time news, the English language on Canal the International. Begin in the northwest region of Cameroon, where separatist fighters have been tightening the noose on the regional capital, Bamenda, for some time now after halting the movement of vehicles along major roads to the divisional headquarters. The population got off this Tuesday morning to a ban on traffic circulation around the Nanga Junction, right in Bamenda Belly, about 2 kilometers away from the popular hospital roundabout along the Bamenda Bali road. True, although there is actually no physical roadblock, or vehicles have been making a U-turn at the Nanga Junction and back to the central town for fear of any eventuality. We'll bring you details in our subsequent editions of the news. And a group of women have been walking through the streets of WOM, headquarters of Menchum Division, against what they have described as wanton killings in their town, the division, and the northwest region as a whole. Meanwhile, another person was reportedly killed at Nancho quarters in Bamenda 2 subdivision. That was last night, exactly 1 week after a popular DJ was killed in the same area by unknown gunmen last Monday's victim is said to be a motor panabito. Yesterday being a ghost town, that is a Monday, his corpse was transported on a cartwheel truck to the regional hospital mortuary. The Minister of Transport has warned transport stakeholders who continue to joke on the roads and claim more souls. Talking to owners of travel agencies this Tuesday, the minister gave a 7-day ultimatum to travel owners of travel agencies to regularize themselves or face the sanctions of the government. Haisencha has been standing by at the Ministry of Transport. Haisencha.
Hello, Morinji. The sanctions have fallen. The Solidarité Voyage and Avenue Voyage suspended till further notice following the recent accidents that claimed the life of over 40 Cameroonians. The Minister of Transport, Ernest Ngale Bibehe, was very firm on the instructions from now henceforth that all transport stakeholders who do not meet the criteria to carry on national transportation shall be suspended within 7 days, which means a deadline of 7 days have been given to all agencies to regulate their situations. Agencies who continue to mingle with drivers without authentic driver's license, agencies who continue to operate under illegality. The time for laxity is over. Yes, time for laxity is over. We are tired of losing lives on our road. Those were the words of Minister Ernest Ngale Bibehe. Here with me is one of the transport stakeholders who took part in the meeting. He is the National President of Inter-Tourism Transport Sector. He will be telling us how satisfied he is at the level of the decisions taken this Tuesday by the Minister of Transport. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the minister has said it all, that sanctions are going to be made. My worry now is that the Ministry of Transport has to work with professionals. We equally need to go in and do a digitalized system to monitor vehicles that are overloaded from loading points to destination.
One other important element, the minister underlined that all transport vehicles must contain seatbelts for all the passengers. Do you see that in reality?
Yes, we see that in reality. But the problem is they need to go to the field practically to control. Look at visit techniques. A vehicle that has been damaged, you go now, it is moving on the way, but it has its visit technique.
Thank you. And the divisional and regional delegates have been instructed strictly to make sure these measures are implemented in the field, especially checking overloading and overspeeding. Live from the Ministry of Transport, Hyson Chia and Serge Alenzebo for the 6 p.m. news.
Thank you so much, Hyson Cha, for those updates. Cameroon joins other African countries today to commemorate the African Day of Decentralization and Local Development under the theme, the contribution of arts, culture, and heritage in the sustainable development of African cities and territories. In the following report, we talk to an economist and political observer who tells us or evaluates the decentralization process in Cameroon. Rethinking the whole concept of decentralization is world-renowned economist Kilian Youssef is advocating for. He thinks the entire process has been politicized in Cameroon.
What is more important to see as a difficulty of the practical phase is the political will. You know, when you talk about decentralization, we are talking about disengaging material and financial resources from the central government to the local government. So you see, it was like there was no political will.
Africa has got a set of problems that are bugging the continent. We have existential problems. We have problems with our youth. We have problems with our governance, bad governance. We have problems with our economies.
In bitter words, he says, Cameroon reflects the paradox of decentralization in Africa.
The English Africans speaking country don't know that terminology called decentralization. They either are in a central system of government or they are in a federal system of government. While you get francophone-oriented countries whose were born from colonial institutions talk about, especially the French system of government, they talk about decentralization. So this is exactly what I can say, that the contents are very different as you live from one case to another.
We need to become more concrete in Africa and begin to celebrate real achievements.
The economists say August 10 should be a reflection across African countries whereby government restructure on how best they could develop the economy and ameliorate living conditions of the people. The theme of the African Day of Decentralization and Local Development is the contribution of local authorities to conflict prevention and peacekeeping on the continent. An inspiring team, experts say, could lead to silencing of guns in some countries if only those concerned hold the people's interests at heart. Weeks to the start of the new school year, Syndicate of the Parents and Teachers Association have given tough conditions to schools on the new modus operandi. The syndicate say for long parents have been sidelined in decision making or take measured decisions on their children, what they will no longer tolerate. Regina Leketanda completes that story. Despite being a vital arm of the school's organogram, the Parent-Teacher Association, the PTA, has often been sidelined in major decision-making process on matters concerning their children. What the syndicate, Cercle National des Initiatives des Parents d'Élèves, CNP, wishes to end by reawakening the consciousness of parents.
Nous demandons aux parents de s'investir.
We are calling on parents to make sure teachers who are primary trainers of their children are not maltreated, as it has been the case today. Part-time teachers don't get paid as they're supposed to, whereas there are millions of francs CFA that have been collected by these schools.
Pourquoi cela? Alors qu'il y a des millions qui sont traînés.
At the press conference in Douala this August 10, 2021, the syndicate presented a new parental vision for education codenamed Novipec. What they say is a response to worries of parents and a game changer in redefining parent relationship with schools. According to this new model, Parent-Teacher Association will function like an enterprise with an expertise to offer, with a precise mission, a recognized headquarters, a permanent secretariat, and a well-defined plan of action. These actors here have blamed the increase in deviant behaviors in schools on the current carefree attitude, with most proprietors interested just to make money. We are calling on parents to unite to save our schools. Parents should not just be spectators. Violent and deviant behaviors have been installed in our schools and society at large today because of the laissez-faire which exists in schools. The sector has been open to any jack and Jill without control. Amongst major decisions in this new vision is the standardization of PTA fee for secondary schools at 10,000 francs CFA and 5,000 francs CFA for primary school. They are advocating for the full payment of part-time teachers of 12 months rather than 9 months, amongst others. The fight against illicit goods in Cameroon is intensifying. In Betua, in the east region of Cameroon, the Customs Department brigade has seized a consignment of goods worth 10 million francs CFA. Gladys Ambodibang has the rest of that story.
These 11 bags contain contraband goods. They were being transported on board a truck to Betua from some neighboring countries when Cameroon custom officers intercepted the truck at a control post at Selu Sember at the north entrance to the Adamawa region. The bags contain mobile telephones and accessories.
These are telephones which were imported illegally into Cameroon for security reasons or for professional reasons. We cannot say how these telephones entered the country. But just to inform you that our intelligence service is working 24 on 24.
The goods seized by the Customs Department's Anti-Contraband Brigade is worth 10 million francs CFA. According to officials, the owner, expected at the Marwa Customs Department, would pay fines upon clearance, and these could cost the individual about 3 million francs CFA.
Yeah, when the proprietor comes, he will now clear the goods with penalties.
The population has, to that effect, been urged to denounce such individuals who deal in illicit goods.
2 young boys, 22 and 23, are in police custody for the abduction, illegal confinement and rape of a young girl, demanding a ransom of 500,000 francs CFA. This happens last July 25, and the mother is said to have filed a complaint. Investigations was opened to interrupted at one point. The details with Beatrice Ngamu.
Kidnapping and illegal confinement, their modus operandi. And this is followed by ransom demand for the release of their victims. The tactics of these supposed kidnappers now in police dragnet. Their latest catch, a young teenage girl, Ange Erica. The mother immediately rushed to the Criminal Research and Investigation Service of the Central Regional Delegation for National Security.
Our unit received a complaint for kidnapping and sequestration perpetrated on a teenage girl by an unknown person asking for a ransom of 500,000.
Investigation started to fish the perpetrators, but since the parents were afraid of the unknown and not courageous enough to wait,
they decided to pay the ransom of 300,000, and the kidnapper released the victim.
After having raped her repeatedly, investigation still continued, and on the night of July 28 to 29th, the police succeeded to nab the supposed kidnappers at Ndong village, not far from Fo. 22-year-old Jean Ted Ejang Baraga and his 23-year-old accomplice Melvin Mayong Kabate were arrested. The handset of Ange Ebrika was found in the room of Jean Ted alongside 3 other mobile phones. The police appeals for participatory security.
if a person not a suspicious fact, he has to call police, can dial 1500 or 117. Unit will intervene immediately.
Cases of kidnap, illegal confinement, and now rape is becoming a new form of criminality in the country, spearheaded by youths. Coming after the incident a few months ago when a young girl was maneuvered via Facebook in Yaoundé and she left to meet her kidnappers in Douala. Fortunately, she was also rescued, but some are not that fortunate.
Another youth has died in Goya Beach in Kribi in the south region of Cameroon. He is said to have drowned in the river. Efforts to save his life went in a vein. In the following story, our reporter Sally Sharifa says the death comes to add to multiple scores of others during this long vacation. Our reports.
This is the lifeless body of the young boy Mukoko who drowned on the 7th August at the Ngoye Beach in Kribi, the south region of Cameroon. Just got back from holidays trip from Yaoundé. The young boy was 15 years and in the class of 4e.
Il y a deux qu'on a pu sauver hier. Bon, c'était le seul petit qui est parti. Lui était là plus avancé. Plus il est entré déjà 3 fois. Donc, on a vu sa famille, on a cherché toute la nuit au corps.
After serious search from the day he disappeared, his corpse was found the next day in the morning.
Hier, aux environs 15 heures, lui et ses grandes sœurs, ils sont rendus à la plage. C'est de là qu'on à 13 heures nous informer qu'il s'est noyé.
As reported by the population of the area, since holidays began this year, uncountable deaths through drowning has been registered. This could be blamed on lack of security, lack of signage plates, and lack of swimming experts. Whereas it is a sightseeing where people go for leisure time. So the population calls on the mayors of Kribi to strongly take things at hand to put an end to such recalling drownings.
Services to HIV and AIDS patients in Cameroon are free of charge, a right that should be respected. It is to reiterate this point that the Association of People Living with HIV and AIDS are determined to accompany the project. The reason for the official launch of the community-led monitoring project this August 10 in Yaoundé. The details in the following story with Beatrice Ngamu.
Making HIV commodities available and accessible, ensuring they are really free with patients spending less time in hospital, the plights of persons living with HIV/AIDS in the country. The special package by Public Health Ministry is to prolong the lives of patients. The strengthening of community system and capacity of community-based organizations and civil society organizations was identified as an essential need in the fight against HIV and AIDS. The HIV community-led monitoring is an accountability for HIV/AIDS response, led and implemented by local community-led organizations of persons living with HIV and AIDS.
To follow up the implementations of that following the ministerial decisions to eliminate out-of-pocket to people living with HIV/AIDS. So we just want to accompany the Cameroon government to see the effective implementation of this policy.
Important for them, therefore, too,
so that we sensitize the caregivers, the health facilities, and equally the clients themselves to make sure know that there are a series of services that shouldn't be paid, either directly or indirectly.
This goes with advocacy to health facilities and other stakeholders to comply to the ministerial decision.
If effectively viral loads is being offered free, CD4 being offered free, medical files are being offered free, no syringes, the time for taking off. So that is in effect these activities.
The official launch this Tuesday in Yaoundé, chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Public Health, Risha Njok, falls in that light and will spread to the 10 regions, 45 health districts, and about 400 health facilities within a period of 3 years. This project by Recap Plus is financed by US aid to the tune of some 780 million francs.
And we now talk sports. We take you to Fumban Noon Division, West Region of Cameroon, where the 2021 boxing season is ongoing, attracting hundreds of youths from different regions of Cameroon. This is the first time such a competition is taking place in the Noon Division. Details of that story with our reporter, Saleh Sherifa.
To better prepare Cameroonian boxers for any upcoming international boxing competition after the eviction of Cameroonian boxers who participated in the Olympic Games in Japan, the Regional Delegate of Sports and Physical Education of the West Region launched this boxing season competition on August 1st, 2021 in Fumban in the West Region of Cameroon to prepare upcoming young boxers for subsequent conquest through competition.
L'intention de toute la jeunesse du Noun, en voici donc un métier, une opportunité pour pouvoir vendre l'image de marque de la Cité des Arts. Je crois qu'en pratiquant de la boxe, on s'éloigne de la loisibilité, on s'éloigne également de tous les fléaux qui peuvent miner la jeunesse.
The population of Fumban had the privilege to see on ring the African champion Maxime Yeyon, as it is the first time the boxing season has moved to the Noon.
On doit toujours rester dans travail, on doit toujours travailler, on doit garder le rythme. Ce qu'on n'a pas été, le plus important c'est de garder le rythme et continuer le travail.
The administrative authority has promised to convey the grievances of the population to the hierarchy for the emplacement of modern sports infrastructures in the Noon.
And that's brings us to the end of this edition of the news on Canal, the International. Thanks so much for watching. But don't go away, we'll have the French version of the news that's in the French language at exactly 7:50. This never Senkan, which is playing Kanga. But coming up next is Lil Piju, and she's bringing up news of current events across Cameroon. I'll be right back tomorrow.
Canal International.